Wait, where am I? Who are you? Wait, what? I was watching American Ninja Warrior and it felt so long that I fell asleep, and I guess I woke up here in the car and there's a camera in front of me and I have to a review about it. Oh no, we gotta talk about this episode because it already felt like it was 2 hours long, or no, well, it felt like it was like 4 hours long because it is 2 hours long. Oh boy. Yeah, no, this episode actually felt really long, guys. Welcome back to the channel, another video. Today I'm gonna try to be talking about American Ninja Warrior Season 17, Episode 4, which was a very long episode in my opinion. I mean, also I was kind of going into that with a preconceived idea that it was, but it kind of was proven, at least in my opinion. So we're talking about the show, the course, everything right now. It had its moments, this episode, and I have a lot of notes actually about the episode, so it's gonna be a long video probably. I hope not. I'm gonna try to talk a bit more smoothly, but yeah, there's some stuff, but overall it's felt very long, and I was it got to a point where at the end when they introduced the guy as the final contestant, I was like, thank God, because this episode felt long. Also, I was sleeping there, so turn off the light, but now we have to turn it back on so I can read the notes. Alright guys, so we started, well no, the course. So unfortunately the big issue here, or one of the big issues, is that the course is the same as week 1, which yeah, look at that better. I did not expect, but now it kind of makes sense, because I was impressed with how they only changed one obstacle from, they only kept one obstacle the same from week to week. Like week 1 to week 2 they kept the spin cycle, and week 2 or week 3 they kept the log runner. So I was like, that's pretty good. Three different obstacles per week. But then I find out it's because they're going to be doing the same course as week 1 and week 4. And I read something, which I'm not sure, but it most likely makes sense. It definitely follows logically, that they're going to be doing the same course from week 2 and week 5, and then week 3 for week 6. So that's unfortunate, because part of the reason I watched is for the course and for new obstacles. So having that exact same course in set weeks apart is really kind of deflating to my interest, demotivating to my interest in the show. So that's a shame, especially because we have no new obstacles this season, which I didn't mind at first. But if we're going to have the same exact obstacles again and again, the fact that they're all reruns is also kind of another factor that makes it kind of a problem. So altogether, it feels very repetitive. I'm hoping next week is different, but I have a very big feeling that it's not. I'd be very surprised if they do have something different in week 5. I'm guessing it's gonna be the three sets, 2 times each, which I get, but like, come on now. It would have been better if they did what they did before, where they like phase 2 obstacles. They keep 2 of the same, to keep the other 2. They change the other 2, and they keep changing different parts of the course. So it's not like a full change every week, but every week you get 1 or 2 different obstacles. That would at least make each episode feel fresh and kind of each course feel different. But it didn't feel too repetitive, because they kind of focused on different parts of the course, I think, which is good, but it still felt long. So we're going to go through the course. We have the quad steps, which is not even part of this, part of this lineup. It's part of every lineup. But we have the quad steps, then the log grip, which is another issue because I hate this new log grip. I'm just gonna get into it now. They had Sam Sand. They showed him as a fast forward, and he got so robbed on this obstacle because he went down the track, and the second drop, he dropped, and he already was like at the end of the track, so he had no momentum to get to the platform. Then he got stuck on the log. So it's like I really don't think he had a chance. And I don't think you can do much about the way the log falls. There's probably something about like what he did to control like the log grip movement, but I don't know what. And it seems very like arbitrary. And before, when it reached the platform, a slightly different drop didn't matter. But now that you have to actually get momentum to the platform, like a different drop like he had really changes it. So it's not fair, in my opinion. I mean, again, he probably has some part in how it moves, but also like I just think that was stupid. So then they showed he got stuck on the log and he's trying to get off of it. He's grabbing the top, which I don't think was allowed, but then again, this obstacle is completely different now, so I guess anything goes. But he grabbed the top, and either way, when you're on the log group, which is a moving thing, it's like a punching bag. You can't jump off of it really unless you have really good parkour skills. So he's trying to get off of it, and he tried to jump the platform, but he couldn't. Yeah, the way that the log stops short of the platform is ridiculous in my opinion, and it's just not how the obstacle is supposed to be. And like even the first 2 contestants, they both like really low on the log, but then they made it, but like they barely made it to the platform. It's just like, it's not how that's supposed to be. Like, actually I should finish the course and we'll get to this. The third obstacle is block run, which is okay. I don't have any big issue with it, at least compared to the log grip, it's fine. Then we have a spin cycle for the 3rd time this season, because it's in 2 different of the 3 courses, so that's just great. And I'm sure we'll have it back next week. It's a fine obstacle. We got some more falls this week, which is good, but like, it's just being used a lot to the point that it's gonna be less interesting now after the season's over. And then we have the battering ram, which is back. It's tough, but I don't think it was as tough this time, or at least the way they showed it wasn't as tough. Then we have the warp wall, which a lot of people slipped on this week. I don't know why. It's like someone poured some oil on there. It wasn't me, I promise. Definitely not. But for some reason the warp wall was slippery, and also we'll get into this later, but the mega wall got 2 clears the first 2 of the season. We had 2 like very close together. I mean, that's editing, but 2 in the same episode at the very least, which is interesting. So it's definitely it felt like the mega wall had a better success rate than the warp wall, at least going by individual attempts. I mean, it didn't, but it was weird to see. Like, a lot of people did well on the mega wall this week, and a lot of people struggled more on the warp wall. It's kind of an interesting switch. So yeah, that's the course, guys. We're gonna get into this contestants real quick. The first contestant, I didn't get his first name, unfortunately, but luckily I remembered his last name because I made like a pun in my head. Basically, he's a dad. He has a wife and daughter that both have hearing loss, and his son is autistic, and he pushes him around in a stroller. And every morning he goes for like a run with his son, and people like recognize him now because he's been doing it for a few years. So that's a cool story. And I remembered his name because I was thinking like he should be called Good Dad, not Good Son, but his last name is Good Son. So I was able to remember it just by making a pun in my head by mistake. So that worked out, I guess. Then he was, again, as I said before, he was very close on the log grip, but I thought he was gonna fall. I even said he's gonna fall out loud, but he didn't, and he made it. And then he got revenge on block run, which, not revenge, but revenge on the third obstacle because he failed the spin cycle and domino dash, what was it called? The domino obstacle and spin cycle, and spinning bridge. Oh my gosh, just a mess. The spinning bridge and domino thing, he failed both of them in the past, so he made it to the third obstacle for the first time. And unfortunately, he failed the spin cycle, which is unfortunate, but it's also kind of interesting from a viewing perspective because he failed the spin cycle, which they haven't showed that much of yet. So I was kind of happy that they showed spin cycle fail just for something different. And also, it's the first time that the first person to run hasn't failed the fifth obstacle this season. So I did appreciate that for a way to mix it up. So that's good. Then the second contestant was, the last name was Wolf. I didn't get the first name. Her story was that she had like FOMO from not being invited to a show, which I agree. from when I applied to the show and was not accepted, but there's other reasons for that. But she was in American Ninja Warrior Junior, then she tried to get on the main show and they wouldn't accept her, so other people vouched for her to get on, and she did get on this season, so I'm happy for that. And she was pretty close on the log group. Like, no one makes it through this comfortably because it's just too inappropriately difficult for a second obstacle. So again, it's just dumb. But she made it to the battering ram, and she kicked the second cylinder by mistake when she was swinging. She got her feet up and kicked the cylinder across the beam. That was my visual representation of that. I don't know why. But she kicked the cylinder away, so it was still not too far, but it made the jump bigger, and she missed the jump. So I don't know if she would have made it without kicking it anyway, but she definitely was unfortunate there, and she failed the battering ram. The block run and battering ram are both BR, and I abbreviate the names on my notes, so I keep trying to think like, what do they mean cylinder? Then I remember I'm thinking of battering ram, not block run, or vice versa. So that's annoying. Then we had this. They started the top 5 of the week, which I haven't been talking about recently because it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just the videos are too long already, so I don't talk about them except for the first week. They're not bad clips, but at the same time they're kind of like, I don't know. I just cut them out because they're not as important. But I will mention this one because it's kind of interesting. It showed the guy from 2014. He won the log grip and he made it to a platform, like he was caught on the edge of the platform trying to climb up, and the log swung back at him in the head, which I remember from the past. But what's weird to me, or not weird, but like, unfortunately I'm watching this on Hulu, so I can't rewind. But they said that, and I didn't get his name. Then the next contestant was a pastor named, his last name was Greer. Again, I can't rewind, so I don't have all this information. But Pastor Greer, we'll call him. He ran the course, and they said how when he was running the course, they said that he failed the log grip 11 years ago. So I was trying to think, is this the same guy that failed the log grip in the top 5 segment before? Because they showed it right before he went. But I didn't think they made the connection that he was the same guy, but it seemed the way they talked about it that he was. So I don't know. If I have a rewind button, I could just do that. But I'm curious about that because the way they presented it definitely seemed like someone who failed the log grip 11 years ago. Then they showed a guy who failed it on the top 5 by hitting his head. So I'm guessing it's the same one, but he looked kind of different. But again, if I could just rewind, I would know. But I don't know. That was interesting to me. Also, when they showed the log hitting his head, I realized that might be why they changed the obstacle, because like, if the log goes to a platform, it can hit you on the head on its comeback. But when the log stops so short of the platform, you can't really get hit by it because it's ends here and the platform's over here. So you can't really. I guess that might be why they did that, but still, it makes the obstacle stupid, so I don't like it. It's like the stupid European version that doesn't capture the effects of the original version of the obstacle. So yeah, I hate this one. Even though they could hit you in the head, I'd rather just have the one that goes over the platform, because it's better. I mean, maybe the guy that got hit in the head doesn't think so, but maybe he does because it's easier probably than this stupid thing. Okay, then. Oh, anyway, sorry. I forgot to talk about the guy. The pastor, he's basically a youth pastor. He does ninja in the church and stuff, which is cool. And he tried to throw a basketball. He missed the basket, which was, I was kind of surprised. I thought he was gonna make it the way they were showing it, but he did not. But it doesn't matter. He made it through the log group despite his fail in the past, whether that was the guy in the segment or not. And he missed the basketball and he failed block run. I said failed BR. No, he failed the battering ram. That's right. Stupid abbreviations. I shouldn't have done that. Then we had Kay Enforcer, who's a Charbox ninja. I believe he's 15, so it's his first year competing. And basically they talked about he has dyslexia, and he likes to do public speaking and talk in front of people, and he basically advocated from the school board for other dyslexic kids. So that's a cool story, and it's good to see like someone that can speak publicly, because I cannot, and being able to like make a change with it. So that's good. As you can see by this video, I should practice my public speaking because it's a hot mess, but what can you say? Maybe I need to talk to this guy. But that's a cool story. And he missed the first warp wall attempt. As I said, like a lot of people struggle on the warp wall today, it seemed like, but he did clear on the second attempt. He cleared the course first of the day, so that's really good. He said he wanted to replace Matt Akbar like he did in A&W Jr. in some skip. Then they did a fast forward of Sam San. Oh yeah, I mentioned this. And what I wrote there was log grip BS, by the way, because that's how I felt. Like that was a BS run. And by that I mean bad stuff, obviously. But he yeah, that was dumb that they did him like that, or the obstacle did him like that. That's a stupid way to do it. Then they had Morgan Wright, who's a PE teacher, the Moose. He's been on the show before, and I didn't know this because he hasn't been on for a while, but he had a heart attack, which is scary because you think these people are fit, you know, they won't have it. But he had a heart attack, and he said that basically anything it can catch up to over time. Like you think you're healthy, but then you're not. Hint, hint. But he had a heart attack, and thankfully he's okay, and he's back in it. And I think he's still a PE teacher as well. So that's good. I'm glad he's still on the show and show his kids cheering him on. And he failed the log grip, so that's unfortunate. But luckily, all in all, he's still doing ninja. He's still in good shape. He's still in good spirits. So that's a big thing, despite not having the best run back. So good story there. Even though I usually hate the stories, but that's a good one because he came back. Then they showed the fourth fail, which again, I'm not really mentioning these fails as much these days because like they just take too much time already. But I'm gonna mention this one because it's weird because they show it in the middle of the segment, like after the Moose guy ran and before the next guy ran, they showed just like a little like mid-segment thing here, which is weird. I don't know why I did that. But the fourth most unforgettable fail was Brian Wolczewski, and it showed him failing the first obstacle in Vegas twice, which is kind of funny. He failed the Timbers in 2013 and the Snake Run in 2017. So they made a whole meme that he failed the Timbers the first time, then he failed the first obstacle again in season 9. So it became like a meme with his family. And that's an unfortunate way to go out in Vegas twice on the first obstacle, especially because he made it through the stuff in qualifying and finals, obviously, to get there. So that's an unfortunate way to go out. But I guess it's memorable enough to get the 4th spot, and that's funny because I remember seeing that the first time being like, oh no, when he failed the first, second time. Then they had Chase Mead, who basically saves people. He jumps off planes, scuba dives, mountain climbs, all that stuff. So that's very impressive. He unfortunately failed the spin cycle, which is also another fail on the spin cycle that we haven't seen much before. So again, I'm glad they showed that. He was closer than the first guy, like the dad that went first. He was not really close on it, but this guy, he almost grabbed it, but he kind of spun out. So yeah, he failed the first jump of the spin cycle. Then they had a fast forward of Sam Folsom, who cleared in 47 seconds. It's impressive. I was like, why did they skip him? Like, why did they skip a fast clear and a mega wall attempt? But we'd find out later that there was a lot of fast clears and a lot of mega wall attempts, so it makes more sense in retrospect. But yeah, he cleared that. Then they showed Isabel Wakeham afterward, who's now his fiance. He proposed to her recently, and basically Isabella's story was about how Sam Folsom proposed to her, and like in the same place that they had their first date in the ninja competition. So that's cool. And they said that the brother like took pictures from the bushes. Her brother took pictures from the bushes, like a surprise thing, and they had like a wedding party when they got back. So that's nice. That's a good story. There's a lot of like ninja couples now. It's interesting. And Isabella cleared too, and they said that she's one of the only female competitors to clear twice consecutively in seasons. So that's really cool. Then they had Todd Bourgeois. I know how it sounds, but I can't say it. Todd Bourgeois. We'll move on from that. Mr. B, he ran the course, and he basically talked about he's on a ranch. He lives on a ranch. He has kind of a more simple ninja course, which I honestly think like some of the simple stuff where it's just, you know, we have all of the high-tech stuff now with like the shades and the precision and the crazy moves, but having just like a simple rig with like monkey bars and rings and stuff, kind of like I have, I think that's actually not that bad. I mean, obviously you need to train some of the more technical stuff, but having that simple rig just gets you a lot of like fitness of like, and just doing bodyweight stuff as well. So I think what he said basically that's effective, and just training the heat, like that type of thing will condition you even if you're not doing a lot of fancy stuff. So that's kind of a cool like difference compared to all the fancy ninja gyms there are. So I appreciate that. And then he ran the course. He had a weird battery ram attempt where he made the shade to the 3rd cylinder, and I thought he should be DQ'd already because he like grabbed the back of the cylinder, like where it was kind of on the track as well. It looked to me like he grabbed the metal bar that cylinder was on for a second, which is technically like a course out because he was grabbing like something that wasn't meant to be grabbed on the course. But you know, like I don't know, maybe I missaw it because again I don't have a rewind button, so maybe I'm wrong, or maybe this lane keep going, or maybe he was out but they didn't show it. Because either way, he at the very end of the obstacle, he was making the dismount, and his foot like touched the water of the platform, which I didn't even think that the obstacle was very hard. I mean, sorry, I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. That the dismount was very hard, but the thing slides backwards freely. I feel like that happened more this week than it did in week 1. But the thing slides backwards freely, and it was kind of far back. So he made it to the platform, but his toe dipped, and he didn't realize. And then when he looked back, he was like, oh, that's why the course turned red. Because at first he thought I made it, then he saw that the lights were red, and he was like, what happened? Then he saw that he touched the water. So that's unfortunate. We had one of those last week as well with like a younger guy. So the low platform is very close to the water, so it's easy to kick the water on your way. That's a rude awakening, but I believe he moved on. They said that his pace was probably fast enough, so I'm guessing that means that he did, because they filmed that knowing the results. So most likely he moved on. I should have checked, but I didn't. Then they had a big throwback. Well, I'm skipping. The third fastest fail they showed after him was Jonathan Sharp Brown, which I saw him do that crazy jump over the rolling log in person in season 7, because I was in the Orlando taping when he did it. That's crazy. Then they showed how he ran with his phone in his pocket and he failed the razor beams at the razor's edge, and his phone fell in the water, which is very unfortunate. And wait a second, they showed too much of him. I can't remember what was the best one, or like what was a winner. But he did some crazy jumps. To me, it wasn't a fail, but the jump over on the rolling log was crazy. That's probably the craziest one. So we'll go with that, because I honestly can't remember what the other one was, unfortunately. So, but again, it was another crazy thing like that. So yeah, that I could never even mentally commit to doing something like a tenth of the size of that. So I don't know how he did that jump. It's crazy. Then they did a fast forward to the barefoot ninja, which I'm kind of annoyed at him because he stole a potential angle that I had, because I like to do stuff barefoot, run barefoot, do some ninja stuff barefoot. So that was kind of one of my possible nicknames. And unfortunately now he's already grabbed it from me. Not that I'm ever gonna go on the show for real, but in theory my ninja name's been stolen. But he failed the block run, so maybe that is an argument that he should be wearing shoes, because he failed the balance obstacle, the one obstacle that requires your feet. So yeah, but I do like training barefoot and running barefoot. I think that's really good for you to I get that it's wearing shoes is like important, but at the same time you get toughened up by doing it. Again, kind of like I said, like just stuff like that is good. And also it's it improves your feet strength as well, rather than relying on shoes all the time. So yeah. Then they had Udoka Abu, who I remember seeing before, like when he first debuted, when I was newer to the show, to watching the show. He did really well in season 5. Then I saw him in season 6 when I was in the Miami taping, and he failed the Dancing Stones, unfortunately, by like a DQ. So he's back now, and they said he had a bit of a lifestyle change because he's more busy with his school, his education, and job and stuff. But he ran the course. He did well. He failed the battering ram, but he had a good run overall. Then they fast forward to Carson Williams. They showed his mom as always cheering on the sideline, and he cleared the course. So that was good to see. Even though they fast forwarded him, it was a good run. Then they had RJ Roman. They did him next. And I just want to say, I know in the past I've like talked about Flip and some of the other people that have helped me. I just want to say RJ Roman is a great ninja, first, and also a very great coach, and just great ninja to when you're at competitions. Because I was at a competition in like 2023, near the beginning of the year. I was at Obstacle Ninja Academy, which was the gym he worked at. And I was at a competition where I got like 2 runs. And my first run was really bad. It was bad. I don't even know what I was doing. I missed a simple rope swing. It was just like, I think it was between being nervous, just kind of rushing it and making stupid mistakes, and then getting nervous because of the previous mistakes. So it was like a compounding effect. I did really badly on the course, so I was like, ugh. Then I got back to the starting line, and RJ Rowan was there. He was basically like motivating me, telling me that I can not like do better. He's like, oh yeah, you can correct all those mistakes and have a much better run next time. So I appreciate that, because I was nervous on the starting line, and I was able to do a lot better after he said that. So I definitely credit him a lot for that. And then I moved back to more South Florida, and I did a competition at Jump Twist Ninja. One of many. If you watch this channel, you know I do a lot of those. But the one that he was at, like one of the bigger competitions, he was like, he recognized me for one, which is impressive, because it was across the state, a whole different gym and a whole different place, like months later. He's like, hey Brian. So that was like, what, you remember me? So that was cool. And then he was very encouraging to me as well. So I appreciate, as always, I like to give shout outs to these ninjas that are cool. He's very nice. So I appreciate that. Then well, actually his run I forgot to talk about. He had a 57-second clear, which is cool. Very fast time. This week is kind of more average because there's a lot of fast times, but still overall 57% clear is very fast. And because, like I said, I like him so much, and he's been so nice to me, I will not even mention that he has such a bad mega wall attempt. I won't even mention it, no matter what. I won't even bring it up. You're welcome, RJ. No, but actually his fail, I mean, he did fall really short on the mega wall, but at the same time, I think he kind of like bailed on it because he realized that he had no chance. So he was like, he said like, nah, that I had no shot. So he knew. I think at that point it makes sense because you don't want to like, if you know you're gonna miss, there's no real need to like go higher because that you can get hurt on that thing. So that makes sense. But yeah, overall, he had a really good run, and he definitely can go very high in the mega wall. It's just a matter of getting the steps in. I'm really convinced that they made the mega wall harder this season based on how many people struggle on it. So I think maybe the steps are different, so that could explain why so many people are struggling on it, including him. So yeah. But overall, very good to see RJ back. Then we had Grace Gorin, who is one of his students that he works with. And she has like eczema, which is like a skin condition. And she bonded with RJ over the fact that he also has like a skin condition. And you know how hard it is because people like, you know, like, what's that with you, stuff like that. People asking stuff, and it's like annoying. So they both can bond over like the struggles of having that. So that's a cool story, a good way to connect. And they're also like, I believe RJ coaches her, so that's good. And she lowered down on the log grip to a point that I thought she was gonna fall on the log grip. I think it was actually strategic to make it to the platform because she made it to the platform very smoothly. So again, like the fact that you have to launch to a platform is kind of dumb in my opinion because it's not meant to be like a launch to a platform. It's just meant to be like get to a platform. But we're being a dead horse, I guess, or a dead course in this case. But she cleared the log grip very easily. She made it all the way to the batting ram, but she missed the last cylinder. I thought she might clear for a second, but she just missed the last cylinder. But that was really good to see. And another good run. A lot of women made it to the batting ram this time, so that's cool to see. Then they had fast forward of a NASA worker, Adam Nades. He failed the log grip. Then they had Hunter Ogden, who he's born with a cleft lip and palate. So that he had to get 13 surgeries to have that, like to have that adjusted. So that's a good story. And again, it's just one of those things where you like, when you see this show, you see a lot of like different stories of people overcoming stuff and having different like conditions. So it's just a reminder of the different things that people have. So it's really cool to see him on Ninja and doing well. And then they showed that he wasn't doing well last year because he fractured his ankle. He fractured and sprained his ankle on the log runner. That obstacle was very lots of injuries. I'm surprised they brought it back honestly, but he fractured his ankle on the log runner, and he's back now. But he's definitely, like they said, it might be like a thing that could still cause some issues. So he ran the course. They also mentioned that his great grandma got him into the show, which is interesting to me because my grandma got me into the show. She saw like an ad on an airplane, and she knew that like Wipeout at the time. She knew I was a big fan of Wipeout. Like that was my favorite show when I was younger. I still like it. But she got me into A&W, but she saw the ad for it, and she's like, Brian would definitely like this, and she showed it to me. And I did like it, evidently by this channel, and by the fact that I've been watching it for 12 years, 13 years. But yeah, so that's kind of a similar story. That's cool to hear. I don't know why I made that about myself, but I did. But yeah, no, that's actually cool that she got him into it. And he had careful steps and block run. He probably didn't want to do anything crazy, obviously, because his ankle in the past and his experience with third obstacles in the past. So it was good to see him make it through that. Then he barely made the wall. Oh yeah, he's the one that like almost ran into the wall. It looked like he made it to the top, but it was kind of more of like, instead of like going up it and jumping back, he kind of like ran into it and just reached up. So I don't know why. As I said before, a lot of people have been struggling with the wall. And at this point, I'm definitely willing to believe that there's something different about it, like fundamentally, like maybe it's a shorter run up or something, because everyone's been doing it like kind of differently and struggling with it. So I don't know. But he made it through the wall in the end. That's what matters. And then they talked to him. And unfortunately, they said the thing that I hate, which is when they say hit that buzzer one more time, and then they hit the buzzer again, which is not, to me, that is not how you do it. You have to clear the course and hit it once. That's just one of my rules, because if you hit it multiple times, it defeats the purpose. Like, what do you say? Like, in Sasuke, if they make it to the top of stage 4 and they're too late, they don't hit the buzzer because it's too late. To me, it's more symbolic in the fact that you hit it once. But, I mean, again, that's just me being a stickler. But as I said in week 2, when I made that whole rant, I prefer when they don't hit the buzzer after they already have. But that's just whatever. That's just me being annoying. But I don't like it. Then they had Steven Bhakta. He's a pediatrician, so they call him Dr. Bhakta, which is cool. He trains with his kids, so now they're all into ninja. They go to ninja gym together. So that's a nice story. I wish I had family members into ninja when I see these stories. I mean, they're into watching it, but not doing it. But but it's cool to see when people like have that like different ninja training stuff. But then they made a comment that I wasn't a big fan of, where they said they basically said like he's 43 years old, so he might need medical attention himself after this, which I know it's a joke because he's like a pediatrician or like you know, any kind of doctor, and I get it. And I probably would say the same thing if I was in the booth because I say stupid jokes, but like it's just like he's 43, and again it goes to show how the show is like so geared towards like everyone being like 15 to 20 now, or most people being, that when they have someone in their 30s or 40s, it's like, oh, they're old, they're getting all of this. They're 43, and maybe it's just me trying to feel better about being halfway to 43, but like that's not that old in my opinion. So when they say that, I know again it's like a joke that's not even meant to be like considered, but that's one of those things I'm like, come on now, that's not that old, right? Yeah, that's just one of those things. Like, I mean, it's on the older side for the show for sure, and always has been, but like now it's just like one of those things that they, every time there's an older person, it's like, oh, they're old, it's annoying. But then they made a comment that made up for it when they said that his run is as messy as his handwriting because he's a doctor, so that was funny. I like that. And unfortunately I didn't write the result, but I believe he cleared the course. His first clear, and basically they he said it's like it's been 5 years in the making. He's finally made it to the course. Well, not finally made it to the course, but finally made it through the course. So that's cool. It's always good to see people make it through and have more success than in the past. So I'm glad to see it. Then they show Caleb Bergstrom, who was a fast forward, and he has fingertips on top of the mega wall. And again, like I said before, I was wondering why they didn't show this, because this was, I think at this point, this was the best attempt all season at the mega wall, up until this point of the episode. So I was like, why did they skip the best attempt at the mega wall? But we're going to turn the page, and I'll tell you why. Because coming up, we have Naxa Garamore, who ran and cleared the course in 46 seconds, which is crazy. Doing all that, like doing the battering ram and doing the spin cycle. I mean, the spin cycle can be quick if you do it quickly, but for me, it would take like 30 seconds in its own right. Just doing all that in 46 seconds is like crazy, especially the battering ram, because that's a long obstacle. But he was able to do it, and then he cleared the mega wall. Oh wait, sorry, I didn't make like a big build up to that because I was reading it like a list. But he cleared the mega wall for the first time this season that we have cleared the mega wall, which is really good. So that's impressive. Like the way they were talking, I kind of thought he'd clear it, but then when RJ was running, I thought he was gonna clear it too. The way they were like hyping up that no one's cleared it yet, so I wasn't sure. They've been doing better this season about not making stuff obvious. So I've had a few times where I like second guess myself because they say something that I think means that someone's gonna clear, but then in the past it doesn't. So they're doing better at not making stuff obvious this year, which I appreciate. So yeah, so he cleared the mega wall. That's cool. I was kind of expecting it, but I wasn't sure. Just the fact that they saved him for so late in the episode, I thought he might, and he did. So that's really good to see. And then they promoted the Active Cash credit card from Wells Fargo because they're sponsoring it. They finally have to pay some money. Then they show Barclay Stockett, who ran. She's been on there for a while now. She's one of the older people, and she's an older competitor, but she's also more consistently in the seasons, riding like a comeback. She's been there all along, but she's just been there for a long time now. But she failed the battering ram, and I believe, because I looked this up because I forgot, I was trying to check something else, but they said that she was too slow to move on, because I believe 8 or 9 women made it to the battering ram, so she was unable to make it, despite making it to the 5th obstacle, which is rare. Usually when a woman in the qualifying makes it to the 5th obstacle, she's able to move on, because there's not 5 people that make it to the 5th obstacle, 5 women that make it to the 5th obstacle. But in this case, somebody made it that she wasn't able to clear, or wasn't able to move on. So that's actually cool to see so many people make it to the 9th obstacle. But unfortunately, this time for her, it didn't work out, and she didn't make the cut. But she'll be back, I'm sure. Then they had the final row of the night was Isaiah Thomas, who was 19. He's named the Flyboy, and he flew all the way to New York. He lived in Texas, but he moved to New York to be more independent, which respect, because I try to be more independent and go on my go to college away for a couple of years, and I was homesick, so I came back. So respect to people that can do that and stay there, unlike me, who's back now. But definitely a good story. So now he's in New York, and at first he made like an adjustment to a city because like it's different. You have all the rude people, not that they're all rude, but you have a lot of people honking and stuff. So he said the house is like a different environment in New York than Texas. Plus everything's not as big in New York as it is in Texas. So again, you have to get used to the smaller size because there's not so much big stuff. No, I don't know why I said that. But he cleared the course in 42 seconds, which is, again, like I said with the 46 seconds, it's crazy to do that in 42 seconds. Like, I don't even, there's 6 obstacles, that's 7 seconds per obstacle. I mean, a couple of them are kind of faster, like the quad steps and the warp wall. But being able to clear that whole course in 42 seconds is just crazy. And then he also cleared the mega wall, which I knew once he cleared the course, he was going to clear the mega wall, because otherwise they were showing Naxa last if he was the only one to clear it. So I knew based on the fact that he showed a previous mega wall clear earlier on that he would clear it. Or at least I was very confident he would, like 99.9%. So I was not surprised, but I'm very happy to see that he did it nonetheless. and that's good for him, especially because he's on his own now or living on his own. He has some money to spend now, so that's good. Sheesh, that was a long review, and I just woke up. But yeah, that overall, I mean, I actually enjoyed that review more than I thought, at least talking about the episode. But overall, the episode was kind of, like I said, just like a long slog of just like, why are we here? Why are we talking? To the point where when they showed Isaiah Thomas, I was relieved because they were like, oh, he's the last runner tonight. I was like, thank God, because the episode felt long, but it wasn't that bad. It was just very slow. I'm sorry, this episode was very long. I've been up for 3 days trying to finish this episode because it's so long. But I don't know why certain weeks feel long. I'm curious if other people think the same thing, or if it's just me being like annoying some weeks. I don't know, because it wasn't any longer obviously, but it felt so long, and that's too bright. It just like felt very long, and I don't know why. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm making this review very long by saying the same thing over and over. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm cautiously optimistic for next week, but this is the same course I thought was long last time, or I thought the episode was long last time. So I'm kind of nervous I'm going to be complaining about that again this week, in the upcoming week. But we'll find out next week for an episode 5 review. We'll see if I'm in this car or going for a walk. I'm going to try to do something different next week for location, because this car is getting kind of old. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next week. Peace out.